Hello, subscribers and hello, subscribers and non-subscribers, and welcome back to Let's Play Stellaris. So it's been a while since we've done a Stellaris series. A couple things I need to go mention though before we actually get started with this Stellaris MegaCorp series is that one, I did not purchase Stellaris MegaCorp. I was sent a key for it after accepting an offer through Woovit. I got sent a key for it. Two, I'm going to try and shoot for 2 videos a week for this series, just like with my CK2 series, with them generally hanging out between 30 and 40 minutes per part. However, this first part is going to be an hour long, just like it was with my CK2 series. However, I don't think you guys will get 2 parts this week, just because I don't quite have the time to go and record basically roughly an hour and a half or so worth of footage, sadly. So yes, you guys will sadly I think only be getting a single part this week, but we'll see. I got my key a little bit late, so I'm not gonna obviously have this video up on release day, sadly. Let me go ahead and get my timer ready to go. Where is it? There it is. And set it for an hour. And final thing I actually wanted to go mention is that in the description will be a link to a Google form. If you want to have a scientist, governor, general, admiral named after you, feel free to go ahead and fill that out. Your name will be added to a list. You won't just have to always use the randomly generated name that the game uses. So I did a poll a while back for who I should play as in Stellaris MegaCorp. Your choices were between a Wayland Yutani and a USSR in space. So got 5 votes, I believe it was. 4 people voted for the space USSR and 1 person voted for Wayland Yutani. As a result of space USSR winning, we're going to be playing as space USSR. Now, one thing I want to go ahead and mention though before we get started. You notice I'm not using the share the burden civic. The reason for that is it requires fanatic egalitarianism, which any form of egalitarianism blocks you out of autocratic government types. I kind of need a dictatorship because the council or full-on democracy doesn't really work particularly well with a space USSR, especially one that's supposed to be sort of modeled after a Stalinist sort of regime. So yes, I also went ahead and gave us slow learners to try and represent the idea of periodic purges happening, though we'll just say it's not going to be the top leadership, it's normally the people under them. Sedentary, because at least as far as I know in the USSR people didn't generally move around too much. Went with wasteful because yeah, the USSR wasn't exactly great when it came to efficient consumer goods production, to my knowledge. Extremely adaptive, I think, worked well if we want to try and represent the idea that we went ahead and took over Siberia and other harsh environments. And communal, which one does communal do? Housing usage. Trying to represent the idea that we have fairly small housing that people live in. But yes, let's go ahead and get started. I will be mostly playing this probably on normal and fast, depending upon sort of where we are. And we are going to play on a 1,000 star galaxy. The game actually performs really fucking good now in 2.2, especially compared to previous versions. It is a lot better. We'll probably still get a slowdown eventually. I wouldn't be surprised, but it's definitely a lot better now than it used to be. We're going to go and play with 17 AI empires. So it's basically 17 plus us for a total of 18. And beyond that, we'll be basically just sticking with the default settings. 5 fallen empires rather than I think the default 4, and we'll have 3 marauder empires. I don't like advanced AI starts. But beyond that, like I said, basically just keeping with the default settings. But let's go ahead and get started. Come on. Okay. So, couple things. I am using a couple mods, as you can tell by the ship models. I'm using a mod created by one of the people that worked on the Star Trek New Horizon mods. They made a standalone for the motion picture era ships, so that's what we are using here. Although it doesn't seem to work properly with the stations. I did try and look into fixing that myself, but I couldn't exactly figure out how the hell to do it. So yes. I'm also using I think it's called lighter borders. For the borders, I'm using a national emblem pack. I don't recall the exact title of the mod for our emblem there, and a mod that adds in sort of a quadrant for the galaxy. It has two versions. I'm using the static version because I don't want it spinning in circles around. That'd be kind of annoying, to be honest. But yes, I'll have a link to a Google Sheet, I think. Oh, well, not a Google Sheet, a Google Doc, I guess is what it's called. That'll have a link to all the mods I'm using for anyone that wants to go ahead and use them. But let's go ahead and get started. First things first, let's go ahead and I think get a better reactor. Because we don't have access to the gas. I think it's exotic gas now. I think they just now use sort of generic names rather than these more specific titles now. So let's not do that. We're going to go for fusion reactors. Let's go ahead and get planetary unity, I think. And we'll go for 0G refineries. We do actually have a nebula relatively close by to us. We're going to go ahead and explore to the west, however, rather than exploring to the east, because the east we already know is a dead end. Well, yeah, we already know the east is a dead end, so there's no reason for us to go to the east. Now, as you can see, the planet is a lot different than it used to be. You still technically have tiles, but they're not manned by like explicit pops where the AI is constantly moving them around willy-nilly, just for the hell of it, it seems like half the time. Pops do still move around to a degree. I think generally speaking, pops will move up a tier whenever possible, but they won't move down automatically. They have to be unemployed for a certain amount of time before they can actually move down a tier, which sometimes can result in a bit of a screwy economy, especially when you conquer a world that doesn't have a good design, in your opinion. And so you end up needing to spend quite a bit of time getting it to fit your standards. I'll try and explain some of the changes that they added as we play, but I'll be honest, I don't quite understand all the mechanics myself. So yeah, we'll be probably generally speaking, if you want good info, probably go and look elsewhere. Because while I've had some time to play, I don't know all the ins and outs. So Alpha Centauri, this time though it only has one planet we can colonize, Alpha Centauri 3. I have a test game that I'm running. I was able to get Alpha Centauri 2 as well. Admittedly, they were both fairly small, I think size 14 and 12, or something like that. Now it's Alpha Centauri 3 only, size 13. Still okay with that. I don't know why the game's telling me you can upgrade, because really you can't. Also, why are we starting with flak batteries? Oh, okay, I didn't realize you actually started with flak batteries now. I don't think flak batteries are better though. They have more tracking actually. Maybe they are better, mostly just because that extra tracking. It helps to deal with any inherent evasion that missiles have. We'll keep going to build up our starting system. I will actually note this, I did think of doing what I did with my Roma Invicta series, which I'll probably go and redo that at some point in the future. I did actually think of colonizing, sort of forcing Mars to be colonized at the start. Because this is basically supposed to be the USSR won the Cold War in basically the late 20th century. Sort of just an exact opposite of what happened historically. And so I just figured, with control over basically all the resources of Earth, you probably would have colonized Mars, to be honest. Even if it's fairly basic. Especially 200 years in the future. It might still be a fairly recent colony, but a colony nonetheless. But I ended up deciding against it. But we will be eventually colonizing Mars. Just mostly for the hell of it, really. Is the music too loud? Maybe lower it just a tad. Just to make sure it's not too loud. Yes, and yeah, technology is going to take a while. Even these fairly early techs now take quite a while compared to previously.
Construction finalized.
Wonderful. Now it's going to be 200, right? Yeah. So another couple of months. You're going to take a while. Let's see, can I get a new science ship? I can, and I can't afford a scientist as well. I'll have him go south, I think. No, screw it. I'll have him take this area to the east, and then he'll go south. This guy will go to the west and then north. I'm definitely probably going to want to take these two systems right here, just because they're choke points. Actually, this one might be a better one compared to that. Either way, we're going to want to probably take those, especially since I don't know where our nearest neighbor is. I haven't actually, in my test game that I'm running, that I'll be probably running continuously alongside this, I haven't actually met a regular empire. I've met a fallen empire, but that's it so far. Discovery of alien life. I'm pretty sure this is an old event. So the Prax has made a startling find on Alpha Centauri 3. The planet is teeming with alien life. For the first time in history, we have encountered life forms that did not originate on Earth. This amazing discovery has silenced those who believed we were alone in the universe. Although none of the alien creatures found on Alpha Centauri 3 are sapient, it is likely only a matter of time before we encounter beings that are. So I can still colonize this, right? I mean, I won't be colonizing anytime soon. It's only a size 13. Although it does have a decent number of mining districts possible, so it might not be too bad. But it doesn't have any rare planetary features, so I'm not in any rush to colonize it. So, okay, USSR is abuzz with the news of the alien organisms. Oh, yes. Also, they increased the character limit. Previously, you would not actually be able to put Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. You basically were like maybe 3 or 4 letters short, or characters short on the character limit. It seems with 2.2 they raised it, at least enough for this. I don't know how much it's been raised though. But yes, so now I can actually put the full title. If I had tried running this series prior to 2.2, I would have probably had to shorten it to actually just being USSR, which, well, that's not the actual title, so why would I do that? Mass extinction. Oh, okay, that's the event you're going to give me. Thanks, game. Our first stumbling steps into the void beyond Earth were motivated solely by were not motivated solely by curiosity, or a desire to conquer the unknown, or a need to leave our mark on the galaxy. The biosphere of Earth has undergone rapid changes in the past few centuries, and prominent scientists warn that Earth may be faced with the beginnings of a mass extinction event, that cyclical purging of life that is inseparable from planetary existence in the greater cosmos. A research plan has been put together to study a number of planets rendered uninhabitable by major astronomical incidents or planet-bound catastrophes. We hope that by reconstructing these events, a similar fate may be avoided for Earth and the human race. It falls to you as the General Secretary of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics to ensure that this expedition is carried out. Consult the situation log for details. For a human future. I think this means we don't get the precursor. I think. I could be wrong about that.
Sit log updated.
But I'm going to go ahead and set that to track all. Okay, they're all relatively close to me, except for this one. That one's pretty far away. But the rest of the... Oh, I completely forgot about you. That's not helping us. Anomaly discovery chance. Yeah, you're still pretty young. You can do it. God, Alpha Centauri has so much stuff to scan. Partly because it has 3 suns, and each of those suns has a couple of planets around them, and some of those planets probably have moons. Yeah, a couple of them do have moons. So that's really slowing us down. Also doesn't help that you're probably not the greatest at surveying. No, you're just resilient, so you'll live a bit longer. We're not going to go and snag Alpha Centauri as with an outpost right now, though. It's not that great. I mean, we'll need to take it eventually, but we can hold out a little bit. Mass extinction, noxious planet. Allegedly, this planet's flora and fauna choked on their own poisonous emissions, likely helped along by the release of reactive gases from beneath the planet's crust. A special project has been issued to investigate the matter further.
Updated.
Go and survey that first. I don't know. I believe eventually, if you don't actually do this event, it does result in you losing your capital. It's a fairly old event, but I've only gotten it like once or twice, and I generally always complete it. I haven't had any problems not completing it, because normally the planets are fairly close to you. But again, I think it does result in you losing your capital. But I could be wrong about that. We're going to go with expansion. Mostly because I want for reach for the stars when it comes to the immediate future. So Bernard's star, of course, doesn't contain a habitable planet for us. Oh, we already found rare crystals. During its survey of Alpha Centauri 5, the Prax discovered deposits of rare crystals. These crystals have properties that make them extremely efficient. I think I forgot to actually start my freaking timer. I think this part has been going for about 40 minutes now. Or not 40 minutes, but 20 minutes. Whoops, I don't know how I completely failed to do that. We'll set it for 40 minutes. These crystals have properties that make them extremely effective at focusing laser beams, and they're also a critical component in most advanced electronics. In addition, many cultures treasure them as decorations and adornments. While we may not yet possess the means to extract this resource, we should seriously consider establishing control over the system for future exploitation. Okay, it's only 1 though. It's not that big of a deal. I've had times where it spawns 2. Those are really good. And yes, this part has been going for about 18 minutes, so
Construction finalized.
I'll just go a little bit past the timer. How are we doing on Earth? Somebody is about to grow.
Special inquiry concluded.
The cracks in the planet's crust, first presumed to be a result of significant tectonic activity, are actually the lasting marks of impossibly large roots burrowing through the Earth. At some point in the distant past, a freak mutation, possibly deliberately induced by sapient beings, though it is unlikely they could have predicted the result, caused native plant life to grow out of control. Many of these plants reproduce through pollination, with countless gametes carried by carried by currents through the lower atmosphere. While this process was originally only cause for mild irritation, the exponential increase in atmospheric-borne particles effectively choked the life out of all animals on the planet in a matter of months. Wow, okay, that's fast. Let's see. What do I want? I could stand to get more minerals. You're still a ways out, though, but I kind of would like to get ahead of the curve. Yeah, let's go for a mining district. That'll help us out a bit. Are you almost done? No, not quite. We'll go there once you're done. Oh, okay, and we have found exotic gases here in Bernard's Star. During its survey of Bernard's Star 3, the, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, discovered several exotic gases, and by several they mean one. Well, resulting in only one resource, rather. These gases have a variety of different uses, particularly in the operation of advanced energy-based weaponry and force fields. Some of the gases can also be used as starship fuel, or even as recreational drugs. While we do not yet possess the means to extract this resource, we should seriously consider establishing control of the system for future exploitation, yada yada yada. We will do that. There's no reason for us not to. It's also nice to see that I actually have some exotic gases.
Anomalous readings detected.
Ah, damn it, that's really pushing you back. When I first played my very first test game, I ended up deleting that save because my economy was in shambles, basically. And I couldn't figure out how to get it back on track. But I basically had no exotic resources within my empire outside of one from my first colony. Beyond that, I was constantly needing to buy it, and it was fairly expensive. I think at some point being at around 9 or 10, something like that, energy credits per. And I needed quite a bit because I was using fairly advanced tech. And surprise, surprise, more advanced tech needs more of it. Admittedly, that's also kind of my fault because I kept building up my military more than my neighbors were. So I didn't really need it to be that large. But I did because I could. Or at least I figured. And I kind of just hoped I could deal with it. But yeah, that didn't quite work out. Let's see, we got a desolate planet, chilly planet, burned planet, and a broken planet. I'm assuming that's going to be a crack. That's probably going to be a molten. It's probably going to be an Arctic. Well, maybe not exactly an Arctic, but something on that line that's supposed to resemble a uninhabitable planet. And possibly more extreme than a barren, maybe even a tomb world. I don't know. It's been a while since I've had that event. A small short-range transmitter has been located on the surface of Proxima Centauri 1. It appears to be an ancient survey marker placed here eons ago to mark a large deposit of precious metals. The miners it was meant for evidently never arrived, as the deposit still exists here. Wonderful. Let's go to the next song. You are almost done. In that case, go over there. Contact report remnants. Intelligent life taunts with pointed absence, reads a popular Newsnet post on Earth. The people of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics are apparently finding some humor in the fact that lower forms of alien life are now a matter of public record, but potential equals from other stars continue to elude us. Science officer Fyodor Petkov's report on the traces found on Proxima Centauri 1 seemingly only add an ironic twist to the situation. So, sort of making fun of the fact that we have found
Construction complete.
a non-sapient species on Alpha Centauri 3. But on Proxima Centauri 1, we have found a beacon for seemingly intelligent life. But we don't know where it is. They're just sort of out there, presumably. Okay, you have this last one. Okay, now you're actually surveying Bernard's Star 2. The one that we had to do for the special project. I would make it to where completing that special project automatically surveys this planet if I was them, because you'd probably be doing the same thing, or you'd probably be doing them sort of side by side. And we got a little bit of trade value there. If I take over that planet Sol with its one trade hub, we'll take that trade value and bring it to Sol, which isn't bad. Could use that to get some more energy credits. You really didn't survey these things in a good order. I hope you realize that. You should have done up here, and then there. But no, you did like up here, some of over here, went to Proxima Centauri, and then you came back to Alpha Centauri. Yeah, sometimes the AI doesn't always do the best job of deciding how to survey.
System resources analyzed.
Like, I would just work from the outside in. But in this case, it's going to do this weird head down towards the center, across, down to the sort of southern side, I guess, of the system, and then back up north, and then to the northeast. Like, how do you think that is a good path? Just do it in order from when you jump in across the entire system. It's much more efficient. Okay, oh, and we got volatile motes. Again, I'm not going to try and pronounce that, has discovered a previously unknown strategic resource on C-193 dubbed volatile motes. These preternatural, I guess, particles contain a tremendous amount of energy which could be exploited in energy production as fuel or even as explosives. While we do not yet possess the means to extract this resource, yada yada yada, we should seriously consider securing the system for future exploitation. Okay, you're finally done. I'm going to send you to Alpha Centauri. Because I think it'll be useful. Desolate planet. A planet in the system still wears the fossilized traces of a past ecology on its sleeve, but could turn a thriving biosphere into a blasted wasteland. A special project has been issued. Also, you can actually control shift if you want to move something to the front. I didn't know that. Apparently it's been in the game since launch. But yes, control shift and then telling it to do something will move it to the front of the queue.
Anomalous readings detected.
Sure, go ahead and do it. Let's clear the sprawling slums. That'll get us a free pop. What's the worst that could happen?
Special inquiry concluded.
Life on the now barren planet was, sadly, doomed from the start. As if by some cruel stellar conspiracy, the dominant species on the planet barely had time to awaken to sapience and invent agriculture before, through unfortunate geological mechanisms, the Earth started turning sour. Samples from lower soil strata and the fossilized remains of the creatures that once roamed the planet show that several vital minerals needed to rejuvenate the soil ended up, through their largely agricultural diet, in the endoskeletons of the native beings. Their bones were prone to fossilize rather than decay, and their very existence exhausted the fragile ecosystem they inhabited, leaving it permanently transformed in the wake of their passing. And he levels up. Good for him. So, yeah, they really weren't lucky. Okay. Clearing the sprawling slum. That'll get us a pop. Kind of wondering if I want to build another civilian industry, because I could probably use it. Let's be honest. But then I also need more energy credits, especially since that costs 4 energy credits as upkeep. But I think we'll hold off for now. We'll see and just kind of hope that works out fine. Though I will add another generator district because clearing that will get us a pop to work in the mines, but I already got another pop growing as well. You are almost done, I assume. Yeah, you're building that around Alpha Centauri A. That's what I would expect. Once you are done, go and survey over there. It'll be a while. There's a lot of asteroids there for you to survey. Did that just move closer to us? I feel like that text moved. I don't know why. Let's go for Reach for the Stars, because I don't plan to colonize anytime soon, so no reason for me to go with the other first choice there. That would give us a free pop. Well, an extra pop, rather.
Construction complete.
It appears that the asteroid A234 and the surrounding debris originate from a former planet. Deeper than the center of the asteroid, we can find traces of extremely valuable alloys. There are also hints of bacterial life that has now died in the vacuum of space. This shows us that the celestial body once bore the promise of life. As a result, we gain a bunch of alloys if I go there and build a mining station around it. It's an extra 3 alloys, which isn't bad. So we don't have any trade routes, because obviously we don't need any. Because Sol has this trade hub, it goes out 1 in all directions. Each trade route adds an extra unit of range. So right now, if I were to go take over this, I would need to build a whole new station. Or replace the shipyard, which, why would I do that? On Sol with trade depot, or trade hub. I don't know why I said trade depot. We're at 26 pops. Building a generator district, so when you grow up, you're not going to be unemployed. And oh, I completely forgot to actually swap our rights, apparently. Yes, I do actually want us to have social welfare, because it's kind of close as we can get. Although I don't think we actually changed that. I just said that for the default. This stuff doesn't update now until the start of a new month, which is sometimes slightly annoying, I'll be honest. We're still fine. If need be, I can sell excess resources. The only thing's really worth anything are the alloys, which I'm not too surprised by, I'll be honest. Let's actually go into here. Oops, did not mean to do that. Just
System resources
add some stuff to the queue. I may not necessarily use them. I actually kind of want you to just sort of beeline for up here. Because we don't have any other planets, and so I kind of want to finish this event. You are almost done there. I think I might just tell you to beeline for over
Anomalous
here as well.
readings detected.
Nope, leave it be for now. You can go back later. There's a black hole up there. Yeah, you know what? Finish surveying there, and then beeline for there. We can deal with this stuff in the back a little later.
Construction complete.
Wonderful.
System resources
Go ahead and
analyzed.
take Bernard's star. And yes, with that there and that there, I will need to get another trade outpost somewhere. Broken planet.
Situation log updated.
Go ahead and analyze the broken planet first. Yeah, actually we don't need those generator district anymore. At least it's not as necessary. People are a little bit happier now, so they're producing a little bit more. It's not a whole lot, but you know, it's something. Yep. I don't know why you're taking that route specifically, but you are. I'll let you take whatever route you think is fastest. I guess just because you
Special
know
inquiry concluded.
more of the systems along that route than the other route, but I don't know. Mass extinction asteroid. The asteroid is in actuality a chunk of what was once a habitable and probably inhabited planet. Regular but overlapping fracture patterns indicate that the planetary demolition was intentional and controlled if somewhat rushed. All signs point to this planet being the homeworld of whatever species destroyed it. We may never know what drove them to consider planetary annihilation to be the lesser evil, and perhaps we should be grateful for that. In the middle of an asteroid belt? Well, I guess maybe it's an asteroid belt as a result of the destruction? Maybe? Only thing that makes sense to me. We have an arid world up here, though it's a long ways away, but it is a size 24, which is kind of nice. Even still in 2.2, larger planets are still to a degree nicer than smaller planets. So, I haven't actually checked if ring worlds work differently in 2.2 than they do in, well, basically anything before 2.2. If there's still sections or if it's just a single ring world now. I'll have to, I guess, check that. I don't think they mentioned it at all in the dev diaries. I'm gonna go ahead and actually get the game up to fast. Just while we wait. So we have the burned planet and the chilly planet. Don't know which is which. Doesn't matter. We need to do both of them anyway. I could go ahead and get your upgrades, but I'm gonna hold off on that. Procyon does not have any planets to colonize. So far, the only planet we found that's colonizable is Alpha Centauri, and then up here in Ingista 3. Or on Ingista 3. But it's a long ways away, so we won't be colonizing it anytime soon. Because it would be way too expensive.
Anomalous readings detected.
No. Leave it be for now. Burned planet, okay.
Situation log updated.
So what can you tell me about this? Asteroid impact decreases the habitability. We only have 40% normally. on this world. It does have a Betharian field, though, apparently, which will allow me to have a Betharian power plant. But surprisingly, it does not have a whole lot of agricultural, mining, or generator districts. Size 24. So, we got 654. Okay, so you have space to fill all those up and add a couple of city districts. If I'm correct. Because this is supposed to be how many districts it can support. So, I mean, that's not a terrible planet. I would prefer if it was continental.
Construction complete.
I'll be completely honest about that. But it's still a pretty good planet. And then once you're done
System
there...
resources analyzed.
The unfortunate fate of this planet can be laid squarely at the feet of a cosmic whim. Or at the feet of cosmic whims. Some gravitational disturbance. After eyeing the system's sun with some suspicion, our scientists named a transient space-time anomaly as the likely culprit to force the planet from its natural orbit to one much too close to the sun. Although the planet is slowly spiraling out towards its original orbit, it has been cooking in the residual heat from the star ever since. Okay, once you're done there, I guess go over to this random system over there that apparently has a... Pretty sure you said it had a Class A planet, but now you're saying... Or Class A sun, rather. But now you're saying nothing. Okay, you can go ahead and continue checking out this other stuff now.
Complete.
Now the question is, do I want to go ahead and take over the Arenth system? Because I'm not going to be getting the trade value.
Detected.
No, that is going to take far too long for you to do.
Scientific progress attained.
Oh, we finally finished technology. And yeah, we're going to go for powered exoskeletons. Thank you very much. I love the plus to minerals. Do I want admin cap, which we're still pretty decent distance below, or pretty decent ways below, or starbase upkeep? I'll be honest, I'll take the starbase upkeep, thank you very much. Currently we are making 18 energy credits a month. That'll go up a little bit, not a whole lot, but it's something. Now, I wish there were better ways to see exactly what planets are in a nebula. I don't think you are in it, but I think this one might be. But I don't know the full extent of the nebula because I haven't explored it. Yeah, you know what? Screw it, we'll go ahead and get that. I will also go ahead and upgrade, or reinforce the fleet rather.
System resources analyzed.
Wonderful. Go ahead and explore up there. How are you doing? You're almost done here. You got that planet and its moon. Yeah, because those guys don't need any upgrades. I say that, we will actually be making some upgrades to them.
System resources analyzed.
Wonderful. It's not a particularly great system for resources. Okay, looks like I'm guessing we went up to probably 22, but it's down now to 20 as a result of building some more corvettes. We have some more trade value up there.
Complete.
Okay, you guys still have one free space left. There we go. Now I can actually tell you to survey that system. And after you do that, you'll backtrack and deal with all these other systems that you've passed through. I'll probably have you literally survey each thing on your way back.
Scientific progress attained.
Wonderful. Let's go with genome mapping for the improved pop growth speed. Once you are grown, I might actually be adding a civilian industries to Earth. Size 24 ocean world, those are pretty good for us. Yeah, we have 60% there, and then I also should have a plus 20 from extremely adaptive, so it should be, assuming it doesn't have any planetary modifiers that decrease habitability,
Construction complete.
it should be giving us a 80% habitability, which is pretty good. Okay, now go and take over that system. Nothing there. And I guess we'll be ending this part off with finishing the mass extinction special project. Assuming nobody's in the system that scares off our science ship. Which I don't think will be the case. So, Chili Planet. The planet of interest in this system is covered in layer upon layer of dense ices of varying composition. Apparently, it was once home to more varied and pleasant biomes. A special project has been issued.
Updated.
We have a size 25 arid world there as well. It's actually pretty decent. Again, we don't do particularly well with arid worlds. We have 20%. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But we can technically do it. It just means I have to spend more on consumer goods and build more amenities on the planet, if I recall correctly, is what bad habitability results in.
Special inquiry concluded.
Yeah, popkeep and amenities usage, and pop upkeep is food, consumer goods, things like that. An unnatural shift in the atmosphere's chemical makeup resulted in the slow but irreversible onset of an ice age. One that began before the formation of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics and is likely to persist long after our passing. Well, gee, you don't gotta say that. The exact cause remains unknown, but probable explanations include failed terraforming attempts or even interplanetary terrorism. Some of the more radical elements within the scientific community on Earth suggest that the dramatic climate shift may have been brought on by the unchecked emission of gaseous industrial byproducts into the atmosphere. This view is confined to the scientific fringe, as it is unlikely that any race intelligent enough to achieve full industrialization will be stupid enough to accidentally wipe themselves out. Okay. While the research expedition often yielded unexpected results, human scientists now have access to an unprecedented wealth of data with which to accurately model the future of Earth. Initial reports suggest that Earth will be in no real danger for at least a dozen generations, save from freak cosmic events or the violent collapse of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Don't say things like that. So, our choices are: what else can we learn from these planets? Gets us some science stuff. Or the human people should be put at ease, which gets us some unity and influence. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'll take the research because it's a little bit more useful for me. So we're about to get better reactors. I don't plan to use them right this second because I don't need to, but it's nice to have them. Although admittedly I don't think it's actually necessary to get any techs that increase our energy credit production anymore. It was like that previously, of course, but I think now it's purely a reactor thing and maybe has an effect on drawing cards for larger stations. Go ahead and upgrade.
Ships upgraded.
Wonderful, 253. We are 8 months away, 7 months away rather, from getting another ambition, or excuse me, tradition rather.
Anomalous readings detected.
300 days, no, that's all too long.
Together we will build a brighter future.
There we go, got our better reactor. Okay, and choices are more physics research from researchers or more energy credits from technicians. Both are good. I don't really need this one. I generally don't even need this one. At least in my test schemes I haven't. So I'll probably need more consumer goods. So having more energy credits isn't bad because then I can buy more consumer goods from the internal market. I don't know what actually is required for the galactic market to trigger. I haven't had it trigger in my test games so far. Yeah, let's go for the energy credits. It's always nice to have more. And we'll just sort of leave the better reactors for now because, like I said, they're not really needed. You have 40 spare power. That's a fairly ridiculous amount. Oh wait, no, that's with that. You have 15 there and 15 there. Yeah, you don't really need better reactors. Right this second at least.
Detected.
180 days. I think this is the amusement park one. At least that'd be my guess. Yeah, go ahead and do it. The game says it'll take you 60 days. Okay, so the game's giving me bad info. Because on that screen it tells me the actual time, it seems. Not the time it'll actually take the researcher.
System resources analyzed.
Which, why? Tell me the time it would take that researcher, or that scientist rather, to do that to research that anomaly, or investigate that anomaly rather. Not the base time it takes to complete it. I think I'll go for the admin cap, I'll be honest. I don't think we'll be colonizing for a little while still. Or was it here? Or was it over here?
Evading hostiles.
Oh shit. Okay, over there we have found the news of alien ships humming through the ether have reached Earth in many ways, ending the first chapter in the book of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics bid for a stellar empire. We still have a bid for a stellar empire. It's just those things. I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head. The void clouds. I think that's what they're called. I don't know. Whatever they're called. It's the little electricity dudes.
Construction complete.
I mean, that's just sort of whatever game. They're not going to be really blocking us from creating a stellar empire. Yeah, abandoned amusement park. This is another old event, so we'll... If you want to read it, because maybe you haven't read it yet, feel free to pause, but I'm not going to read it because, like I said, it's an old event. And I'm sure I've had it multiple times throughout my various Let's Play series of Stellaris. Eventually, you just kind of stop caring about seeing it. 13 months to do that. Do I want to spend 13 months not researching pop growth speed? Not really, to be honest. Ouch. Sorry. That was probably kind of loud for you guys. Hit my hand against the desk as I tried to move it. Let's see. We're sort of snaking, but I don't think we're negatively affecting our cohesion yet. Yeah, we still have a little ways to go if we wanted to negatively affect cohesion. I guess you will be snaking up to here. But again, I don't think I'll be colonizing this planet. I'll terraform it though, gladly, probably. Because it's a nice planet, generally speaking. Although I think the districts might change after terraforming. I don't actually know if that happens. Because I never paid attention to it.
Construction finalized.
Go ahead, just keep on taking over stuff. So we're in a fairly decent spot in the galaxy, I want to say. We're not out at the outer rim, so if the Praetorium ends up being our inevitable endgame crisis, they're not going to immediately come in and destroy us. But we're not in the center of the galaxy, where sometimes expanding can be a pain, because it's kind of easy to get boxed in when you're towards the core. Yeah, go ahead and research that. At first glance, Ingista 3 seems to be inhabited by a diverse plethora of life forms coexisting in an ecosystem similar to our own, in which nutrients cycle the food chain through photosynthesis, decomposition, and predation. Upon closer inspection, however, the crew discovered that though all living things on Ingista 3 developed as individuals first, they now, by mysterious design, operate as a single organism. An organism that responds to all outside interference with fierce and indiscriminate aggression. So it has dangerous wildlife, ×2, and savage wildlands, further decreasing habitability. That is a terrible planet to colonize. Holy crap. 25... There's the timer, but like I said, I go a little bit past it because I was a little off, apparently, when I said it. This is a absolutely crap planet to colonize. Although apparently savage wildlands, yeah, gives society bonus. But, I mean, unless I find a species out there that has an arid habitability preference, there's no way I'm colonizing this planet without terraforming it first, which of course will probably remove asteroid impacts and hostile fauna. But hey, at least the planet would be livable. 25% habitability. Life Electric. Science Officer Kurikia Konki reports that XR7NY1K is covered pole to pole in a web-like network of electric impulses. These networks respond to external stimulus. I'm not going to try and pronounce that, experimented with sending a low voltage pulse onto the surface, resulting in a wave of illumination that rippled through the network like a circuit board. Even more remarkable, the webs recharged themselves. A secondary pulse revealed the filaments had organized into a new pattern, centered around where the previous pulse had contacted with the surface of XR7NY1K. Kurikia Konki concludes that the discovery has confirmed her long-held theory that life can exist almost purely as electrical impulses, independent of cellular or viral structure. Fascinating. And she gets an expertise in computing. Because somehow that makes sense. How close are we? Okay, you're almost there. Yeah, let's go ahead and build another civilian industry, because we're only making 3 a month right now. And when I inevitably end up colonizing, I kind of need to have space. Or a little bit of extra consumer goods production. I'm kind of hoping we find a good continental world, but so far that hasn't been the case, obviously. That has quite a few minerals, so we're going to go there. Also, I think I will be upgrading the station here, because you will snag that and that with just a single upgrade. And then I'll probably build... Yeah, probably do a trade hub and then a defensive thing. So that you have some protection range, so I don't have to deal with the pirates as much. And are you going to have any trade value to add to this? Because I would not complain about that one bit. Admittedly, Ingista is probably a slightly better spot. In some ways.
Scientific progress attained.
Wonderful. Okay, so I can get alloy mega forges, which allow us to produce more alloys out of minerals because it gives us some extra jobs. But we don't actually currently have the volatile motes. We have no way of actually producing them. We do obviously have a mine that we, in theory, if we learn how to harvest them, we could build, but we haven't figured that out yet. We also haven't researched chemical plant under physics, which will allow us to turn minerals into them, but again, we don't have that research, so this is kind of a worthless tech for us right this second. So given the choices of robotic workers, which have the potential to be useful in the future, but right this second, I kind of want to say let's not bother. Oh, we're going with nanomechanics. I would prefer to go with nanomechanics. Main reason why I don't want to go with the robots right now is because I don't have anything that they could do. They would just be taking jobs, and I'd just end up with a bunch of unemployed people. So let's try to avoid that. But eventually we'll probably research them, and we'll probably have particularly fairly new colonies. We'll probably use robots. So we have a worker here complaining about being unemployed, but once the civilian industry is built, they'll move to work there.
Finalized.
And one of the technicians moved up as well. Because like I said, they move up freely, but not down.
Evading hostiles.
Oh, something there wants to kill us, apparently. Oh, okay, it's the evil. The amoebas. Is that what they're called? I don't recall. It's the bad ones, the ones that always want to kill you. So let's not go there. You have any cohesion problems? Not yet.
Detected.
Sure, go ahead and research that. It looks like it won't take you very long. There's the ocean world. That's the system I want. That's a nice planet. Well, it should be. We'll see. Game might lie to us. Where is this? Oh, we have found another species. Well, I think that's going to be it for this part. I will see you all in the next one. because we're a little bit over an hour now. So I will see you all in the next part where we will be. Oh, we moved our. Oof, not a big fan of that. Where we will be probably meeting these gamma aliens, as they have been given the current designation. And we'll see if they're going to be friendly or hostile, and if they're hostile, we'll need to build up our fleet, which I think we can do. But yes, a reminder, I do have a Patreon, link that down in the description if you wish to become one. I also have a link in the description of my Discord. And again, if you want to have a leader named after you, i.e. governor, scientist, admiral, or general, because they removed the cap, so I will actually probably use generals. Normally I don't because of the leader cap previously, but now that that's gone, my leader cap is just how good my economy is and whether or not I can afford another leader. As a result of that, I will probably use them. So, link in the description to a Google form if you want to have a leader named after you. It'll ask you if you're a patron, because in theory, the idea is that patrons would get a little bit of priority. I'd probably just alternate between patrons and non-patrons for the names, though, realistically speaking, but nonetheless. But yeah, so it'll ask you if you are or not a patron. And in the end, it'll ask you, what role do you want? Do you have a preferred gender? Because playing as humans, we actually have easily identifiable genders, so yeah. And then, of course, the name and what role you want. But yes, so I will see you all in the next part. Like I said, I think this part you'll only be getting one part because I just don't have the time to go and record about an hour and a half worth of footage. But yes, so it's a pretty good start so far for our USSR in space. A little too close to a potential enemy. I kind of was hoping they were a little bit further away, just a tad. But hey, we met somebody almost in the first part, so it's not too bad. Better than my current test game where I haven't met anybody except for a Fallen Empire. And this is not a Fallen Empire. You can tell by their the ship models they're using. But nonetheless, like I said, see you all in the next part. But until then, a goodbye and farewell.